gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Manzullo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, Hank Paulson, the former Treasury Secretary, wrote in his book On the Brink that in September of 2008, the Treasury issued, as you referred to, on page 10 of your testimony, the preferred stock purchase agreements, encouraging banks to purchase these, and that this was done at the same time to help satisfy the Chinese government, which owned billions of dollars in Fannie and Freddie bonds, which were paid off in their entirety. And so now we have these banks that were intentionally misled, intentionally deceived to buy Fannie and Freddie preferred holdings. And then after the government said, buy these, it's going to help out, government just defaulted and stuck all those banks. Big time. At the same time, you mentioned there's a new $30 billion capital program considering for community banks. And my question to you is, when I look at the objectives of reform, and this is a guideline, I don't see anything in there that addresses whether or not these community banks should be treated the same as the Chinese and be made whole when they were intentionally misled by the U.S. government to buy these bonds that turned out to be worthless.
Congressman, I cannot speak adequately to the judgments my predecessor made at that time. I can't.
I understand. I'm asking you, do you have a solution for these banks that got stuck?
Well, again, I think one of the most powerful things we could do to help community banks get through the challenges still ahead is to put in place a capital facility that gives them the ability to come to the Treasury and apply for capital to support small business lending. I believe that would help make a big difference.
Well, I understand that, but if they're made whole on their bonds, they're just getting back their, no, if they're made whole on their preferred stock purchases, then they're simply getting back the money they paid in the first place and don't have to worry about another exotic program coming from the federal government.
Well, again, I understand those concerns, but small banks across the country face a lot of challenges, not just those who held Fannie and Freddie preferred stock, and that's one of the reasons why small businesses across the country are still having a hard time getting credit, and I think it is a...
Well, that and the fact that the regulators have really tightened up the screws, even though the regulators say they have not, and I believe them, but the people in the field have done that to make what credit is available even tighter.
You're right. I think
here we have a situation where my question is the Treasury, as part of its reform program, interested or willing to treat the community banks the same manner in which it treated the Chinese on making sure that they were indemnified on their bonds?
Well, again, I'd be happy to spend time with you, Congressman, in looking in more detail at that particular
Can
suggestion.
you give me at least the basis of an answer on that?
Congressman, we have put forward a very detailed...
If you don't know, I would accept that.
No, as I said, we think the most effective thing Congress could do to help small community banks now...
I understand that. I'm asking, what can you do? I mean, don't you think...
What I can do is administer a program like that with authorization from the Congress, but I need authorization from the Congress for it to work.
You need authorization. Would you need authorization in order to honor those preferred stock purchases that were issued in September of 2008?
I'd have to think about that and get back to you, but I have to get back to you about that.
Okay, that's fair enough. Thank you.
The